Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of the Village Law SEQFC preview show. My name's Darren, and the finals, they're there for some leagues. The end of the season, it's there for some leagues. But it is business time. That is one thing that's for certain all over the place. And let's run through them all. We've got guests. We've got one regular tonight. It's Lliam Parslow. G'day, Lliam.
Hello, everybody. We're back.
Yes, we are back after a week off. Been a bit crook, and I'm going to be away again next week. So we're going to. It's been a shocking year for this show. Week on, week off. Anyway, let's get straight to our first guest before I introduce anyone else. We've got Barry Jensen here from the Mackay Magpies Crusaders United. Did I leave any words out, Barry?
Yeah, well, actually, it got a bit long. You get tired saying the word, mate. Yeah, but yeah, no, it's all good, mate. Yeah,
it's MCU now, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what it is, mate. MCU.
Good stuff. All right, now there was a press release earlier on this week to say that your 5-year stay in the competition will be coming to an end at the end of the season. We had your coach on the show last year, and they were saying to us that they thought they hadn't heard anything, but the way they saw it, I mean, we were wondering if they're going to be in the if you're going to be in the competition this year. They said, you know, you've got a license, so it should happen. Now we're at the end. What's happened? Why is this coming as a surprise to you guys when the statement came out?
The statement came out. The only discussions we'd had 11 months ago with Football Queensland, where we had 8 of our people there and 3 from FQ, that they wanted to start the SAP and youth programs, and I said to them straight away, and I said, really, you can't, because we've got in our license agreement, we're running the TSP, and additional to licenses when they are handed to the country people in Townsville and everything, they also asked us, would we take on additional in starting to run the SAP? So we've had a full club participation since that date, and I provide the documentation which they never knew anything about. So they knew of the license, but not the SAP program too. So we agreed to let them have our girls program that we were running with the lead up to the World Cup and different things. So I said, yeah, we do that. We can't change that anyway, because if they say they're going to take over SAP and youth and the TSP, you can't do anything about it. It's their decision as the governing body.
Yep.
We never committed to anything that we're doing. As far as the license for this year was only ever talked about as, you know, your 5-year term is up with your license, and what we said was that you know, we just didn't talk about it. You know, like, we'll see what happens. Their terminology was, we've got to wait until Football Australia delivers the criteria for the licensing, what's happening, you know, for the 2023. And so nothing else has been said, except, as I said earlier, till I started to contact them, we was told we'd know in April, because you have staff and everything. I started to ask the questions around about June, towards the end of the financial year, because we are a business and that's what it is.
Right, so FQ put out the statement this week saying that public and private advice was provided to MCU in September 2021. So talking about the academy, the new connected football pyramid and the conference system. It says a 12-month transition period was agreed with Magpies Crusaders United to allow an opportunity to plan and make necessary arrangements with players and to meet sponsor obligations. So from what you've said, it sounds like it matches up, but you're saying that there was no, you're not having your license renewed, you're not playing in the Southeast Queensland competition beyond this year?
Yeah. No, that wasn't discussed. That was nothing to do with the license. And as I say, the license, the only thing that was said that they're waiting on the criteria and that'll come out later. And well, it's said April. It's never happened, as we know.
Yeah, of course, there's been a lot of water around Southeast Queensland in that time, and FQ was certainly
Most definitely.
no strangers to that. So a little bit of leeway there, but we're in September now, so no, August. So surely
August. Yeah,
So-
we got a couple of weeks.
So surely something should have come out, and you're saying that it hasn't.
It did at a Teams meeting on Monday.
Right.
After I've asked for some sort of decision-making process, because as you say, it's coming towards the end of the season. We're in finals at contention right at the moment, and we're getting towards our end of the year. And I've got a lot of coaches and that are in the club, you know, in the junior system, and technical director and head coach, and you've got to be able to talk to your staff and that, and yeah, it's not a good business policy to do that and not deliver the message to them early. You know what I mean? I've been forcing that, and it's only came out Monday.
This doesn't come as a surprise to you, though, does it?
Probably you put your hands behind your back with your fingers crossed.
Yeah.
But as Lliam knows, I've got a fair few contacts in down south and Brisbane clubs and everywhere, and we do talk regularly. You know, the clubs and us talk quite regularly, and because we've built acquaintances and good business relationships and friendly relationships. So we'd heard whispers, but it's still not coming from the governing body that makes the decision.
No, you don't want to be hearing whispers, do you? You want to hear you want them to be upfront with you, don't you?
Lliam, in life, you know, everyone wants to be fronted.
Yeah.
Tell us, and then tell us why, or give us an explanation.
Yeah.
Because right at the moment, the pressure that's building up within this community right at the moment of why.
Yeah.
And they're absolutely disgruntled in football for the first time for a long, long time. See,
Yeah.
they had no pathways up here, different to down there. There's been no money invested in regional football in this district for a long time. And we had a very good club, and we had some very good sponsors outside of the club come in and join with Crusaders, the old system here that had two sides in development. And we went on to form this and deliver, like last week, 720s playing in your QPL side, mate. You know, that's the proud part, isn't it? You know, in football, is that, you know, what you're trying to deliver.
So, first question, let's look back at the past 5 years. What are the proud moments from that time?
I haven't had time to think about that, mate. I've been on the go, as like everything. But we have established ourselves, and we've got this year we've got a young fellow picked in the under-16 Australian development sides and different things and squads. So, as everyone knows, if you're running something from a bottom at the SAP, it's probably nearly a 10-year program. As I know, in the early days of Thunder and Western Pride, and that it takes you a long time to get that pathway and everything going. And we just had it to the stage. Our first year of SAP participants were starting to play into the TSP program, and it's they're actually devastated because we've actually looked after them. We've absolutely looked after our programs, and that's the most proudest thing I am. We've run a club that's been successful in all, tick the boxes, what you do as a club, and that's develop players and give them an opportunity to, if they go on, they've got an opportunity where they're playing at a higher level, they will be picked up and move on wherever. But for those people, the kid that might be an electrician in Mackay, he can stay here and still play at a good level, or go back to clubland in Mackay because you're producing players all the time. And if they're not good enough, they'll go back to clubland. And if they don't want to go to Brisbane or Sydney, they've got an opportunity to play and strengthen the competition with the younger players.
Does playing in a regional competition in your zone, it's got to be of interest to you, right?
Not at all.
Why is that?
Not at all. The region our juniors play up grades now in our youth system, but to play in a North Queensland type competition, I might have got you wrong. In regionally, yeah, with our youth and that, but I don't want to be competing against the other clubs in Mackay because we were the pathway before.
Yeah.
You don't want to be, I don't know. It goes back to the members, mate. They're the big questions our club's got to ask.
Yeah. I guess what I'm getting at is rather than sort of having to come down to Brisbane every weekend, what about a weekend at Rocky or at Bundaberg?
It's easier to fly to Brisbane and come back. Just a one-off cost. Mackay to Cairns for the Australia Cup, 17,000. That's to go up on a Saturday, come back Sunday.
Yep.
So what I'm saying is these type of competitions that they're trying to say that can take over, but they're only in a knockout situation anyway, and it's only at the level of club level. So we're above. It's only our young kids, our 17 and 18-year-olds that are playing in the top grade in Mackay, and they're sitting third. And they're the young kids. So it's not really a development of where they're playing at a higher level. As far as if they go back to clubland, it's just the same level. After several years, we hope to build that up with the players that didn't go to Brisbane. They'd go back to clubland and add strength. It's a long-term process, but I don't know, mate. It'd be very interesting to ask our kids right at the moment. We're trying to keep them focused on what they're doing this weekend against Rochedale. You know what I mean? Without asking what they want to do. Head down to the Raw Academy or something like that. And we've got our technical director's got great connections throughout Queensland and also throughout Australia. And at the moment, we're in a position whereby we might still keep our pathway system. Like that is the big question that right at the moment. And we're just waiting on our staff to see where they sit at.
And what's your argument for particularly those in Southeast Queensland who say the money that gets spent on the travel to and from would be better spent elsewhere? What are your thoughts on that?
Okay. Just go back to the initial licensing back in 2017 for 2018 for 5 years. Our license and everyone else had put there at that stage, there was 2, maybe 3. I don't know if Wide Bay was still there then, but there was 2 other sides in the competition in Townsville and Cairns. So they're budgeting. So I'm just being the business person. If you start a competition, they must have had sponsors or a form. I can probably guess where the money was coming from. But we've had no transparency of actually figures. There's been figures quoted, which I can pull the pieces in places. In one case, we give off a year. We didn't play. We played the first couple of games during COVID, and to keep the competition going down in Brisbane, the club lost something like 10 players out of their senior ranks because we allowed them to go. So therefore, they saved just that year 160,000. That's sides travelling from Brisbane and us travelling down there. So the quotation of $1 million plus, my question is, we pay more than the other clubs, and they must have had a business model before they offered these licenses. I don't know what their business model was.
Barry, just for those that might be curious, how much does it cost for a flyaway round for? Is that from the club or is that from Football Queensland pays for that?
Putting it plainly, it costs us probably, forget the referees and everything like that, like use pay, everyone pays. We tipped in 20, and I think youth clubs tipped in 10,000 to have your license each year. And they would have supplemented us each year about 65,000.
So
it's about 8,500 with your accommodation and everything to travel.
So every we'll say every second week it was costing $8,500 to fly to Brisbane and back, and that's flights and accommodation.
Yes.
Okay.
And we have to pay other stuff outside of like that, like meals and everything like that.
Yeah,
down there.
Okay.
Sure. All right. Let's talk about positive things. This weekend, the Magpies are in 4th place. Have you secured your place in the finals? Is that definite?
No, we haven't, and that's probably brought up an issue which I'm seeking some advice on right at the moment, where the announcement of us dropping out, I think they've changed something in there to say that the bottom side, one of the bottom sides, is not vying to be relegated anymore.
No, Caboolture and
Mitchelton.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know what happens there, but that announcement shouldn't have been made till after this weekend, because straight away Mitchelton play under.
Yeah.
And it could end up on a count back depending on what happens in our game. We're ahead of them at the moment, you know what I mean? But
yeah,
that sort of announcement, I find quite. That one came out last night, and then it pointed out to me this morning.
Yeah.
Is not good for football to know that you're, like they don't have to win to be not relegated. It doesn't matter where you sit, relegation or up on the top, it still goes the same way. And to that announcement to come out the week before the game,
before the competition's even finished.
Before the competition is finished, you can probably understand, because they'd come out very hard to stay in the competition, wouldn't they? You know what I mean? They win, they avoid relegation, and this is just another thing that's came out in the last 24 hours, and I'm just seeking some advice on that at the moment.
Surely this will put a run up your guys' backs, and you'll smash Rochdale this weekend, mate, right?
Oh, we'll be probably running down there now with some fire around there, trying to stir the boys up at training a bit, but that's what it is. It's the same as like if you're going into relegation, you've got things to play for and fight for. And whatever you do, if you're in regional and you are a Queenslander, let's forget, if you're a Queenslander, you don't want to cop it, mate. You go down with a flurry, you know what I mean?
Yeah. I might just throw this open to everyone else who's here. We've got a couple of other guests in. Did they want to ask Barry a question at all?
Feel very open, people, because I'm very transparent in everything I do.
No? I'll take that as a no. No worries. All right. So look, congratulations to Redlands United in this competition, premiers. Fantastic effort from them. Rochdale, of course, have been promoted, and we've just got this final semi-final spot with Magpies in the 4th place. South to West Queensland Thunder 2 points behind. Western Pride. Can you still do it, Lliam? No, you're done. Because you've already played your 20 games.
We're done. So well, there is that. I was going to say no points wise, blah blah blah, but no, we played 20, so there's no more chances. No. Yeah. Right.
There we go. All right. So plenty to play for this weekend. Looking forward to see how that all pans out. Now, let's turn our attentions quickly to the NPL. Well done to Lions. Congratulations on their win, their runaway win. We've already discussed this a couple of weeks ago, didn't we, Lliam? Because they'd already wrapped it up by then.
Yeah, look, that's how long ago that they wrapped it up. Yeah. I think we were. I think we had Tony on, and he was on another Olympic rant, wasn't he?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And they're about to start their finals. Is that happening? No, I'm really out of the loop on this. So I'll assume that there's nothing happening this weekend in that competition. Nah, because Australia Cup is happening. That'll be why. Good luck to Peninsula Power this weekend as they take on Sydney United 58.
That'll be a good game. Good game.
Yo team. And we want to see AJ Kelly Park completely packed out. So get your tickets for that game if you haven't already. Now, let's get to the NPL Women's. Well done to Lions on their premiership victory. They've done it again. It's a few rounds to spare. They're on 40 points. Their nearest competitor is on 23, and that's Capella. They have blitzed this competition. 13 wins, 1 draw. It's the Rob Askew way, Liam.
It is, mate. Absolutely. Blitzed it, didn't they? But you know, like we said before, you know, it's up to the rest of the competition as well to try and start putting some more money into their women's programs and starting to do what Lions do, and that is just have good backroom staff, and you know they've got to get more out of them, don't they? Really.
And just on that, Liam, Gary French has left Souths United after 6 years.
Yeah, good luck. Good run there. Good run.
Yeah, so I got in touch with Gary and asked him what his future is. He wouldn't tell me exactly, but man lives on the Gold Coast. That's all I can suggest so far. So watch this space. Good luck to Gary. I'll tell you what, if Rob Askew is the best coach of elite talent, I'll give Gary French the gong for the best developer of talent. The number of players that he has had at his clubs go on to great things.
And contacts as well. He manages to find. He's got a good reputation for, especially amongst the Americans and the Canadians, as we heard a few weeks ago, that he likes to. He's got a good reputation there, and he tends to get some good quality visa players in as well that get exposed to our league.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
5 points between Capalaba in second and Sunny Coast Wanderers in 6th place. So plenty of final spots up for grabs there. All right.
Yeah.
Now we've already chatted about the FQPL 1 and the FQPL 1 women's. Peninsula Power
they've done it.
Promotion.
Yeah.
16 wins, 3 draws from their 19 matches. Another phenomenal effort.
Yep.
Looking at the finals places, Virginia are in 5th on 30, Brisbane City on 33, Western Pride 34, Mitchelton 37. Liam, you got something to add there?
Oh, Western Pride's, they're City, Pride, and Virginia are all buying there for that final spot there, and any one of those teams could drop out really. So Virginia United, they've had a really great back end of the season. So they should be very, very happy and proud of what they've achieved there. Pride, they're kind of like the men's team. The back end of the season, they're kind of struggling a bit there. So a few things to sort out there, I guess, for the next season as well. And it's been an interesting competition there. It's good to see Mitchie and Virginia, especially compared to last season, finish where they have, or going to finish where they are. So it's good for the sport, and of course, Penn Power.
They've made some notes, haven't they? Well done, Tony Skinner.
Yeah. Of course, Penn Power. I mean, look at that. Look at the loss column, 0. They didn't lose a game. It's good. But the Gap and Thunder, I think, bit of work for them to do. I think. They've kind of been at the bottom there, so the gap will probably definitely go down. But a bit of work to do for them, I think.
FQPL men's 2, Surfers Paradise, of course, are going up. Wolves have gone up.
Nice.
And
Good to have Wolves
promotion as well, without a player
back up.
But interesting with these playoffs now. So Virginia United at the bottom there, they'll be playing against other teams. Is that right?
I don't know if there is a playoff from the 2 to 3. I don't think. I think it's just straight down up. Yeah, could be wrong.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. The league, like you look at the Football Queensland League thing, and it's just where people are, and it's like that meme, where the numbers and the squares and the triangles all over. It's just so hard to keep track of what they're doing.
Yeah,
that's just me anyway. I'm probably
Definitely.
completely wrong, which is moving on. Where are we at now?
Now we're at the FQPL2 women's, and Robina City have hit the front at the business end of the season, 1 point ahead of Taringa Rovers, and Robina in hand as well. Matt Glue, he was going to resign at the end of last season, but he's thought, I've got a good thing going here. I'm going to stick with it.
Yeah.
And boy, hasn't he done well.
Well, I think they're both up, aren't they? I think they both go up, don't they?
I believe so, yes. Yeah. UQFC and Broadbeach have fallen away a bit at the end there. But Robina and Taringa are fighting it out for top place. Robina still have a game in hand. I can't see Robina not securing the league here. It's going to take something massive for that not to occur.
Yeah.
All right. FQPL Metro Men's 3. Now, there's a game occurring right now between St. George and the Lakes. These two teams are fighting it out for the league at the moment. This is another classic battle. There's 2 points difference. So if the Lakes can get the win, they will overtake St. George in top spot.
Well, it's St. George. They recruited well at the start of the season, so they certainly deserve to be where they are. And it's ding dong battle. That one has been all season.
And if I read it correctly, I thought both of these teams get promoted.
Yeah.
To FQPL2.
Yeah, top two. Yeah.
So they're just playing for a trophy there, but they're both going to go up, which will mean that Newmarket next season will be the top dogs in the FQPL3. Who'd have thought that 5 years ago?
There you go. No, I don't know anything about that. I don't know anything about the history there, but okay, if you say it.
Yep. Scott Hardy, it's time to start bringing you into the conversation here, mate. You got anything to add about that comp?
Not particularly. I'm more fascinated by the relegation battle, because if you look at the FQPL 3 table, pick your two going down. Go on, have a look.
Mount Cavalla on 16, Sateri Stormers 15, Western Spirit 14, The Gap on 13. I saw the Stormers were losing tonight in their catch-up game. I don't think...
Is that against Spirit, isn't it? Is that against Spirit?
Quite possibly.
There's a few 6-pointers in that group there. UQ aren't safe either.
So the Lakes are beating St. George at half-time. The Gap and Toowong are 0-0. Newmarket are beating Centenary 3-0.
Oh, it's Newmarket they're playing. Okay.
Yes.
I know Spencer's riding Spirit all the way down to FQPL 4, but I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced. I think they might survive.
FQPL.
I've been there about been close, Spirit, haven't they? Sorry,
let's keep it going, guys. In the semi-final stages for this competition, North Brisbane up against Toowong, Mount Gravatt up against Caboolture. North Brisbane, they'd have to do something extremely horrible to not take out the double in this competition. Another ding-dong battle this weekend. North Pine are taking on Logan Metro at Bob Brock Park. Saturday, 6 p.m. If North Pine win, they will be champions. They're currently 1 point ahead of Metro. North Brisbane, 3 points behind in third, Redcliffe in fourth. Scott, anything to add there?
I think you've got the right order there. I think that North Pine are going to nick Metro here. Metro will fight. They'll give it everything they've got, but I just think North Pine are just a little bit more class in the end, I think.
FQPL 5, this is a competition you know very well, Scott. Congratulations on your premiership.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's been a hard battle. It's not a done deal that we're promoted, but we haven't necessarily got the premiership yet. So we need to beat Narangba this weekend, I think, and hope Tarragindi slip up. And then we go to Tarragindi midweek next week.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, yeah, that'll be interesting. It'd be nice to seal the title over there, particularly as they're the only team that have beaten us this season so far. So there's a bit of unfinished business there for our boys, I think.
Yep.
Tell us about the rest of the league, mate. Willowburn have got on a good run this year.
Yeah, Wilburn, I fancy to do pretty well if they get to the playoffs. I think they're probably. I haven't seen the Rambo play. I didn't see the Rambo play the last game, so we have them next at home. So I'll know a little bit more about them after this weekend. But to be honest with you, looking at the results, it's incredibly close to that fourth spot. Brighton, if they get to go up, probably deserve to as well. Brighton have done very well this season. They've got a young side and gave us merry hell when we went over there a couple of weeks ago, and we were lucky to get away with a point there. So I think the top three are right, but that fourth spot between Rambo and Willowburn, it's anyone's. I think the boys in Toowoomba might nick it.
Yeah, looking very close. FQPL 6 and Oldbridge have hit the front.
This is anyone's. This league.
This is anyone's.
This is anyone's.
Look at that.
Oldbridge are in front, but only on goal difference. Ridge Hills, 43 points as well. Park Ridge, we were talking them up a few weeks ago. They're in third on goal difference on 43 points.
Have a look at Park Ridge's running their last 3 games, who they've got.
Yeronga Eagles in fourth, 1 point behind. So this is anyone's competition.
Park Ridge have got the other top 4 sides, I think, in their running. I'm fairly sure.
I see them playing Logan Roos this weekend.
I'll perhaps say what Roos first then. They've got a couple of hard games coming up though.
Okay. All right, and I have lost that league.
Do you think Oldbridge will do it?
We've got 20 leagues up at the moment.
That's all right. That's all right.
You got too many tabs open.
Oldbridge are mine, I think. I think they might take this one.
All right, we might talk about that in a bit more detail next week.
Yeah, I think so.
But let's get to the FQPL 3 South Coast men's. Brett Budwee, coach at Palm Beach.
Hey, Darren.
Mate, we had high hopes for you guys this year, but congratulations to Broadbeach United.
Yeah, there's probably only 3 teams that could win it down here this year. Ourselves, Robina and Broadbeach. And, it was a matter of us taking points off each other sort of thing during the year. And the teams down lower didn't really have much of a impact on the table sort of thing. But no, Broadbeach were the best team. They deserved to win, and now obviously they've got the automatic promotion scene as Football Queensland have just changed whatever they want to do whenever they want to do it.
What did they do so well, Brett?
They had good attack, mate. Their front 3 and then their number 10, so their front 4 were really good, clinical. We shared points this year, so we won the first round, they won the second round. But the second round was probably the more important game because it was 3 games before the end of the season, and they got a 6-point gap on us because of that game. So it was a true 6-point game. But even the games that we lost this year to Robina and to Broadbeach, we had opportunities to win at stages during the games. We just didn't take them. So that was probably the difference. They had a bit more clinical up front.
All right, so we've got finals happening this weekend, do we?
Yeah, so it's 1v4 and 2v3.
Yep, so are they 2-legged?
No, it's just the one leg.
Just the one leg this year, okay.
Yeah.
So you're travelling to Robina for that one?
Yeah, travelling to Robina, so it's a 4 o'clock kickoff. We've got both grades in the finals again this year, so both our teams will be playing at Robina on Saturday. I don't think the ground's been used for about 4 months, so it should be good, hopefully.
Why is that?
There was rain when the rain was on. I know the first grade team haven't been playing there very often. I think the women's team might have played there over the last few weeks, but it was closed because of the drainage there was terrible, or is terrible.
Right. Okay. And Broadbeach, of course, will be hosting Southport. You give Southport any chance?
Look, there was I think maybe 18-point difference between the 2 teams in the league, but Southport on their day, they proved it last year against Lepers Paradise. They can do a job. So yeah, I'll never say never with them. They're a good team.
All right. And we saw the announcement during the week that that 2 Brisbane teams will be promoted, but just the one from Gold Coast. Were you a bit miffed about that?
Yeah, look, I was originally miffed with the original concept where the top team in Brisbane automatically was supposed to go up, and then the top team in the Gold Coast was supposed to play off against the second Brisbane and, you know, Sunshine Coast and all the rest of it. Not sure why. I've been told it's because of the numbers in Brisbane. There's more teams in the Brisbane Metro League and that, but, you know, quality-wise, to be fair, mate, you know, in the pre-season, I wouldn't be playing against any QPL or Brisbane Metro teams as preparation for the league. I'd be looking to play against QPL 1 and MPL teams, because I think that's the level where our top teams down here are at. You know, I'd probably consider playing St George. We usually play St George in the pre-season. They're a good team. But to be honest with you, the top 3 or 4 teams, in my opinion, down here on the Gold Coast would easily compete in QPL 2 and possibly QPL 1. So I think it's going to take a while for the old pyramid to work out.
Yeah.
But, you know, in saying that, you know, the Gold Coast teams, I've seen there was one week there where Surfers played a midweek catch-up game at North Star Tuesday, 8 o'clock kickoff. You know, that's not ideal for people who work and who've got to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning the next day and all the rest of it. We played Nerang 2 weeks ago, and Nerang were bottom of the league, only won 1 game. And after the game, they were 10 deep at the bar for like 2-3 hours. You know, so it's sort of like, it doesn't really matter who we play as long as we're playing someone. So yeah, I'm not sure about the whole pyramid thing, to be honest, mate.
Okay. Looking at FQPL 4 South Coast men's, Murwillumbah have taken top spot with a big win on the weekend over Gold Coast Knights, and Tweed United have slipped to 3rd.
Yeah, that was actually last night. Murwillumbah and Knights played. And by all accounts, Murwillumbah went down to 10 men quite early, and they were 1-0 down up until the 80th minute or something, and then got a couple of goals. So that would have been a hell of a game to go watch.
Certainly would have.
Yeah, so Mark Boland, I think you had him on a few weeks ago. He's the coach of Murwillumbah down there. He was my assistant back in 2008 at Magic. So it's good to see Mark doing well.
Yeah, tell him everything he knows, Butters.
Yeah, him and Nathan Mulhern was my youth league coach at one stage too, 2010.
Boys, I just had to jump in. I'm going to have to head, unfortunately. I'll see you later.
All right, Scott. Thank you for your time, mate.
Yeah, mate.
Thanks.
All right, I'm just very quickly going to reference the Sunny Coast Leagues. We will get a guest on the show to talk about these leagues next week. Time to put my hat on. My Koala hat. Right.
Now I have to surf the internet to find the Sunshine Coast one.
Thank you very much to Koala for these hats. I love them. Maroochydore are this year's premiers, which we predicted at the beginning of the season. Pretty good from our distance away from lack of knowledge of this league. Absolutely blitzed it over Koala, Noosa and Gympie as they head into finals this week. And or are they? Maybe they're not quite there yet. No, it's just that Maroochydore have got such a big league that they have taken the premiership. In the women's, Woombai have come from absolutely nowhere to take out this competition. I think they actually got promoted into it this season, and they've blitzed the league by 8 points. Tremendous effort over the improving Fire. They've lifted their game. They've built very nicely over the past couple of years. Caloundra in 3rd, Maroochydore in 4th. Quick look at Southwest Queensland. Willowburn men win the league again. It's last year was the big anomaly with St Albans getting up. But in the women's, Highfields FC Gold have a 2-point lead with not many matches to go. Willowburn have played 1 match less and 2 points behind. And they play each other this weekend. So titles on the line. If Highfields can get the win, that'll be Good win for them. Good league win. All right, that's our wrap up for the leagues. Let's have a chat about what else has been going on. Guys, what do you make of this Raw situation?
Well, look, you've had a lot of he said, she said going on, haven't you? You've had Football Queensland come out and say that that they'll be kicked out of the competition, or they'll be, if they don't pay up, and then you got News Corp saying that they won't be kicked out of the competition, and it's just it's honestly a real mess. And for me, Brisbane Roar, they're supposed to be the team that kids that they're the Queensland team that everyone should want to play for. They represent the pinnacle of Queensland football, and they're just embarrassing the way that they're going about their business. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes there, but to owe money, players, and then to owe players money for contracts, and it's just, and I often think that people say we shouldn't get a second Brisbane team in. We should. Well, we shouldn't. Or people say, oh, there isn't enough support for. People don't support Brisbane Roar. Why should there be a second team? It's like, well, people don't support Brisbane Roar or don't go to Brisbane Roar games because of all the crap that goes on. You get Brisbane Roar some competition, in some league competition where they have to fight for players, fight for memberships and sponsorships, and the likes. It might start improving the situation for football at an elite level in Queensland. They've just got to do better. Got to be much, much better.
Barry, are you still with us?
I think Barry left a while ago.
I think Barry's gone. All right,
Yep.
But Butters is still. Brett, do you have an opinion on this, mate?
Mate, not too much. I'm not sure how much they actually owe and why they owe the money, but it seems a bit of a ridiculous situation that our top team in the state is owing it money to anyone, sort of thing. I do know that, back in the day when Brisbane Roar started up, obviously I'm pretty sure it was different owners, but the business model, especially down here on the Gold Coast, was a lot more evident. They'd be down here doing clinics, down here with the players doing signing things. They used to have a bus. They used to send a supporters bus from the Italian club down to every home game. And I think it was free of charge. It was part of your ticket, sort of thing. There's no community engagement down here on the Gold Coast as far as Brisbane Roar goes at all. A few years ago, I had a couple of meetings with Warren Moon when he was the academy director or whatever about, implementing some talent identification things for the Raw down this way. But, that's long gone now. We don't hear nothing of them down here.
So again, sounds like it's a resources issue. They're just running off the smell of an oily rag.
Yeah, it's odd, isn't it? Like when you, but it's not just the Gold Coast where they're not part of the community. You don't see them out here, or especially out of Ipswich. I think. Well, having said at the start of last season, they had that pre-season game at North Ipswich versus Adelaide. But apart from that, even in Brisbane, you don't see or hear anything from them. There must be no budget for marketing or anything like that. And they're now gone there a separate way from Football Australia. They're now part of basically running their own ship now. And I tell you what, it's just they've actually gone backwards since I think they left the Football Australia organisation. And just they can do so much better. It's just so disappointing. Just so disappointing because look, some of us carry on in the media about about football infrastructure and about how the state government doesn't fund this and doesn't fund that. We talk about the Olympics and football missing out again, and the Women's World Cup next year, and we're missing out again. But when you've got an organisation like Brisbane Roar who just seem to stuff everything up, and you've got Football Queensland as well that have got their own issues. I mean, you're just hitting your head against a brick wall for our sport in this state altogether. Brisbane Roar are part of a bigger picture of football in Queensland, and they're doing such a shit job that it's, do we deserve what we get when we're so poorly represented in this state by such poorly run league? I just so disappointing, man. I could go on. I could rant forever, as you know, but I just want them to do better.
You're right, Lliam, as far as state-wise goes. A friend of mine looks after the Chinese teams when they come over here and that, and then he was down in Victoria 2 weeks ago, and he was saying that the Football Victoria have set up a thing at Shepparton now, a complex. I think there's 10 full-size pitches. There's a stadium there, all going to be built through the government and the rest of it. He was literally saying they're 20 years ahead of us, 25 years of what we've got up here.
Yeah, and I saw another. We've all seen that graph with Football Queensland and then QR rugby union and league and netball and rah. But there was another one that's come out today about how there's only $117 per player in regards to funding for the state, and then you got rugby union, which is like $600 or something like that. It was astronomically more, and we just we're the most participated sport in the state, and it's like as if there's no votes in it for any of our public or any of our politicians. If there's no votes in it for them, they just don't care. I mean, you can do all you want. You can message them. You can contact them on social media, but you're just completely ignored. That's because is there no votes in football? It's like as if it's like as if you need someone to champion, someone up higher, either a sitting member in the federal or state MP, or someone who loves their football, who's like passionate about it, and just to be the champion for our game at a higher level. And we don't have that. I mean, I think Mick de Brenny, I think he was our sports. He was the Queen of Sports Minister a few years ago, and I think he was locally involved in is it Rochdale or is that his area? Yeah, and so he was involved in some of the local football from way back, but nothing. Sports ministers don't care. They're happy to stand there at Suncorp Stadium with a Matildas or a Socceroos jersey or scarf around their neck if they can get Football Queens, if they can get Live in Queensland plastered across everything. But if it doesn't, it shows with our World Cup qualifiers, we don't get any of them. All we get is friendlies, which I'm happy to have friendlies. Friendlies are great. Friendlies is, with the Matildas and Socceroos coming up, but we just have no one championing for our game at a high level that has enough influence to get that funding, and it's disappointing. And we got the Olympics coming up, in 10 years, and there's nothing in any of that we're going to get anything out of it. I mean, we all know that the Sydney 2000 games, the Gabba was done up for Olympic football, but what did our game get out of it? Nothing. AFL and cricket, good luck to them. They've got the people where it counts. They got the money. I've got nothing against that. They champion hard for their game, but we got nothing out of the Sydney games, and we're going to get nothing out of this either. And it's embarrassing. We need people to be championing for our sport at a higher level, and we don't have it.
I'm calling it now. Lliam Parslow, next Ipswich Mayor.
No, man, no. I know. That's a poison chalice, man. That's a poison chalice. It's not Pasali. It's not Parslow. It's not going to be any of them.
And before we go, Brett, any goss on the Goldie, mate? What's the goss on the Goldie?
I've heard that if the Knights get up into QPL3, they'll throw some money at the team, so that could be good for the league. Bring the Knights back in, strengthen the league. It was always a good derby game. We've lost a bit of that since Surface and that, and now Broadbeach are going. But no, nothing too juicy, mate. Any rumours you've heard? We need Mark Madge back on the show. He's always had the rumours.
Oh, he works for Football Queensland now, so he's got to be very careful with what he says.
But we don't want him on the show then.
Oh, just quickly, former host or co-host of the show, Joey Lee. He pulled me aside after the Pride game there last weekend. It was just a bit a bit hush hush at the time, but it's now been announced by Football Queensland that he's now part of the A-League setup in regards to refs. So he's assistant referee for the A-League. So it's very, very
fantastic.
Isn't it great news? He's a great guy, Joey, and I'm very happy for him, and I wish him all the best as well.
Well done, Joey.
Mm.
All right, we might wrap it up there. That's our show for this week. Thank you very much for tuning in. I should point out I did invite Robert Cavalucci to be on the show tonight to have a chat about the Mackay situation. I messaged him earlier today. The message is still unread, so he's a busy man. We'll give him a pass on this one. That's the show, guys. Thank you for tuning in. I think I'm away next week, but we'll see you in 2 weeks, and we'll be full of grand finals to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see you there. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.